Led Providence to a Big East title and a school record. 5 straight NCAA tournament appearances. They're 14-2. They're 4-1 in conference play. They are number 20 in the coaches poll. They've got another big one coming up against Seton Hall on Tuesday. Providence head coach Ed Cooley is my guest. Ed, it's been a moment or two since you and I last spoke. It is great to have you back. How are you doing, and how is your life right now, Ed?
Jim, great to hear you, my brother. I appreciate you. You know, I always say if my life was any better, I'd be a triplet. Life is good. I got no complaints. You know, we're on somewhat of a pause right now with some positive things in the program yet. Control what we can. I'm excited to be on with you, and thanks a lot for thinking about me.
Ed, it's great to have you on. It's always good to talk to you, and I always appreciate you saying yes, so it's great to have you back. Why don't we talk about the program? You beat St. John's on Saturday. I know you're not going to make it about you, so let me talk about the team first. The team was coming off a tough loss at Marquette. I know you were eager to get back on the floor, so what did they show you in the way they responded to that loss?
Great word. I talked about response, and I talked to them. I mean, it's a long season that goes fast, and I said, guys, you're gonna have games where the ball doesn't go in. I'm gonna make mistakes as the coach. We're gonna make mistakes as players. Control what we can. The biggest thing is how do we respond? How do we come back and win a home game, and how do we get back on the winning ledger? I think when you complain about the losing and you did this wrong and did that wrong, you don't look at the big picture, what the guys have done well to get to 13 wins prior to that 14th win the other day.
I love that. It's a long season that goes fast. That's a great line, and it's all about the response. Nate Watson, Ed, had 22-11 in that win. St. John's did their very best to try to limit his impact in the first half, but then he went to work in the second half. How pleased were you with his, quote, response?
Great. You know, we talked about Nate all the time. He's at the top of the scouting report. When you talk about Providence College, it starts with Nate Watson. He's going to get a lot of, bigs and teams' attention and get their best shot. So I was really proud of how he responded in the huddles, how he responded at halftime when he came and talked to me about, Coach, give me the ball, I'll deliver. Just get me the ball, and I'll find my way to the basket. So it was good for him for growing and showing some growth.
Ed Cooley is joining us, and I know there's a lot of work ahead, but right now you're 14-2. You're a half game out of first in the Big East, and you've already had some big-time wins. Again, a lot of work to be done. You're not going to plan a victory parade just yet, but this was a team that was picked to finish 7th in the Big East before the year. What did people outside the program not know about this group before the season started?
Resilience, fight, attitude, experience. We have 7 seniors, 8 including Andrew Fonts, and all my buddies who I went to school with at Stonehill, Jeff, Steve, and Derek, they talked about, Coach, you got an old team, and I'm looking forward to it. You're going to surprise a lot of people. So I got to give my roommates from college a lot of credit because they saw something really I didn't when they looked at our age. So I think our age and our experience is really paying off.
So, Ed, what about that? When you have a job or when you have a team that's older and more experienced, how much does that change your job?
Well, you know what? You don't have to be the motivator, the inspirer, because it's hard to motivate and inspire and coach. So when you got some older players that have played 100-plus games, have started 100-plus games, and have been through the coach speak, have been through the downs, you normally have an older group that has focused. And I keep talking to our guys about the destiny is to be one of the 68 teams selected on March 13th. Let's stay in the moment, but on March 13th, are we a worthy opponent? Did we do enough to be considered an at-large team if we're not fortunate enough to win a regular season or a Big East championship?
We are talking to Ed Cooley. All right, so Ed, what about the Big East? You've called yourself an old-school Big East coach. You've seen a lot in this conference now, but when you see 4 teams in the top 25, plus UConn just outside, Shaka Smart making noise in his first year at Marquette, I mean, how tough and nasty is the conference this season?
Love it. Since the realignment, again, I love the traditional games where we used to play, Syracuse or Pittsburgh or Louisville, even Connecticut back in. This has been as competitive as it's been in a long, long time, including the new realignment. In any game, any team could get you. You got to be prepared, as evident when we went to Marquette and got our doors blown off. It tells you the balance of the league. It tells you the coaches of the league. But I also think it's a COVID year of which many teams, maybe with the exception of that of Georgetown, Creighton, and Marquette, have much older guys in their lineup. So I feel bad for some of the younger kids not given the opportunity, but I feel great about the older players that are, going on and doing some great things in our league.
Ed Cooley, back on the program. You mentioned it as a COVID year. Last season, you played your home games at Alumni Gym without the fans. Before this season, you said that you got chills when you went to the dunk to get your COVID shot. What's it mean to be back at the dunk and playing in front of the fans once again?
I mean, I think all of us coaches think our fan base is the greatest, and I'm going to reiterate that. I think ours is really good. We've played in front of some great crowds. The student section is sold out every game we play, and they're here. I appreciate the loyal fan support. It is amazing in there. I got to get you to come to a game at the Dunk. You got to come back east to watch us here. Sit right on the floor and experience the energy, the passion, the love that they have for our players. We're a tough out in there, man. We're a really tough out in there, and hopefully we can continue to play in there. I just get chills knowing that that's a place that I used to sneak into, and now having the opportunity to call it my own timeout in there with our staff. It's just a dream of mine, and I never want anybody to wake me up from that dream.
Ed Cooley joining us. I appreciate the invite, and I hear it in your voice. I mean, you and I have talked in the past about your amazing journey, but for a kid who played at Central High School in Providence, what's it mean to get your 300th career win and have more than 200 of them as the head coach at Providence?
When you grow up and, you say, when I get older, I want to do this, or if I can do that, I am living that dream, and I want to be an example of young men and women who aspire to do things at a high level, that dream big, that never thought they can do it. Take care of your opportunity, trust, believe, give back, smile, say thank you. I'm just so blessed and fortunate to work for great people here at Providence College. And honestly, I get goosebumps even talking about it. I never thought in a million years I would be a head coach, let alone be the head coach at a place where I grew up. So it is truly, truly amazing.
Excuse me. Sorry for jumping in, Ed. I was going to say I was so eager to follow up on that because you've said, quote, if you grew up where I grew up, and I can sit here and actually talk to you, you have no idea, zero. The percentages say you're not supposed to be sitting here, end of quote. That's a really powerful statement. The percentages say that you're not supposed to be sitting here. So how do you explain the fact that you are, in fact, sitting here and you've had the success and the life and the career that you are having?
Dreams do come true. You have to have some luck. You have to be given that chance. And what do you do with that chance? And there's also some give and takes on that, as we talked about with Isaiah and Olivia and Nerese. You're not there a lot, as you know, in the business that you're in. You're not there for your family all the time, and I don't think we can not talk about that. Yet at the same time, to know that you are doing something you love, and not many of us have that opportunity. You go to work and say, wow, and I also get paid for this, and I have the opportunity to inspire young men. I have the chance to uplift somebody else's life and give back to something and give back to a community. You can't make a movie about this. You can't write a book about it because I'm living it. I'm living it every single day.
Ed Cooley joining us. You mentioned your family, and you're right. There's so much to it. There's your family, and then there's the extended family, right? The people who supported you along the way. As an example, what kind of a role, for instance, has Al Skinner played in your career and in your life?
Al is like big brother, dad, mentor. What I learned from him is be patient, don't oversell, recruit people that fit you as the coach, not as in the person, not just to come to school. Get some high quality kids, give kids chances. Don't be in a rush to make quick changes. Give people an opportunity to become great. It may not happen overnight. And again, that's the one thing I'll take from coaches. Just be more patient, say less, and listen more.
Ed Cooley is joining us, knowing what you know and laying it out like that. Ed, when you look back, and of course you will always look forward, that's the thing, but when you look back, what do you remember more? Is it the wins? Is it the people? Maybe the moments along the way? What comes to mind first?
The people. The people whose lives that come later on and say, Coach, I didn't know, but thank you. The fans. Father Shanley, who's no longer the president and is now at St. John's as the president, now Father Sicard and Bob Driscoll. I thank them for bringing me here to Providence College to do something that I dreamed about. I'm a people person, Jim. I never look at the mirror and see my face. I look at the mirror and see who I can inspire in it. And I think the more that we can do that as leaders and inspire other people and not look at yourself, the better we're going to be as a country and the better we're going to be as human beings. Help other people, and you'll go a lot further than you ever thought.
There it is. Ed Cooley joins me for another moment or so. So your game against Creighton on Tuesday was postponed due to COVID concerns. We certainly are not out of the woodwork there yet. So how do you go about working with your players and making sure that they are locked in and they are focused, despite that fact that that schedule could change at a moment's notice?
You know, we've been very fortunate the last 2 years, and we are now on a pause as, you know, we have some COVID concerns within the organization. And I tell her, let's control what we can. Let's use the words family. Let's use the word love. Let's use the word care. Control what we can. And, you know, this too will pass. We'll get back together. And when we do, let's make it the best we can, because within 6 weeks, there's going to be a bracket that says the field is 68, and here they are. And hopefully Providence College is one of those.
5 straight NCAA tournament appearances. Also, he has led them to a Big East title. Providence is number 20 in the coaches poll. Another big one coming up on Tuesday at Seton Hall. Ed Cooley, my guest. Ed, I appreciate you. I appreciate the relationship, and I love having you on the show. Thanks so much, Ed. Great talking to you again.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you.
You be good. Ed Cooley joining us.